Coming up, Israel Adesanya knocks out longtime rival Alex Pereira in the main event of UFC 287. Gilbert Burns defeats Jorge Masvidal in the co-main event, who then retires. Kevin Holland, Rob Font, and Christian Rodriguez all pick up impressive wins on the main card of UFC 287. My name is Frank Bonada, here for the MMA stream, and joining me once again is Murdo Todd. We are back in the aftermath of UFC 287. Israel Adesanya, of course, reclaimed his title from his long-term rival. Jorge Masvidal was defeated by Gilbert Burns. Quite a few hype trains were derailed. Great fight, or great fight card in general. Obviously, Murdo, we spoke in the preview, and you're heavily backing Alex Pereira. He didn't win, I'm afraid. So what are your post-fight thoughts on that card?
Yeah, the card itself was a great card. It really picks up some steam, and there was some great finishes, kind of great underdog wins and stuff like that. The main event, it was competitive until it wasn't. Adesanya caught him, and it was similar to the exchange that rocked Alex in the first round of their third fight, but first MMA fight. And then that was all she wrote. Just buzzed him, and then he was out. I thought the first round, Pereira was landing some good leg kicks. Close. I think I gave it to Pereira, but I could have seen it going to Adesanya. And then I thought Pereira was kind of opening up, landing a good few shots, and I thought he's really getting going here. And then, man, Adesanya stayed in the pocket. What a finish! Very, very impressive.
Yeah, one of the sort of the things that's coming out post fight is that Adesanya saying he was like playing possum, and he's like shelling up, and Pereira sort of like landing on him, and then obviously he lands that well, it was two overhands essentially, wasn't it, that did it?
Yeah.
And he even landed, like, he threw the overhand, and as Pereira's falling, he actually fell into like a lead hook as well, which I think like made a difference from it being like a TKO stoppage to an actual KO, because I think that just ruined him at the end. Look, I mean, in my opinion, the better man won. The better fighter, maybe not the better man. The better fighter won.
Not the better man. The better fighter.
Yeah. Dana White seemed pretty insistent that Pereira's future is now a light heavyweight, which is interesting because I thought they'd love to run it back a third time in MMA. And maybe they do. Maybe they do it at 205 pounds. But what would you want to see next? Like, do you want to see, a trilogy fight in MMA? Do you want to see him, move up, fight Hill or, Yeri, one of those guys?
Honestly, I'm sick of immediate rematches. I'm sick of trilogies, and I just feel like, I don't know. You really need to earn an immediate rematch. I get Adesanya earned his.
Yeah, he deserved it. Yeah,
I don't think. I'd like to see him go away and get a few fights, but I think light heavyweight's the move. It's way more open. I think in terms of winning another title and being competitive, light heavyweight is, if he wants to win a title, you can go up in light heavyweight and do it, because you watch light heavyweight and it just doesn't really make any sense, to be honest, sometimes. But so those are very winnable fights. You got to think how much that kind of weight cut affected the chin, if it did at all. But in terms of, I think, for middleweight, it's kind of maybe not the best in terms of, a bit of excitement. But I don't know. I'd like to maybe see him move up, take some time off, but I don't know. Maybe even welcome Hamzat to 185 if you can still make the weight.
Absolutely not. That is the worst move Pereira could make.
I mean, it would be a fun fight though. It'd be a fun build up.
I think Hamzat would beat him, beat him easy.
I think so.
It's an awful fight for him because it's a kickboxer with not that much, less than 10 fights in his MMA career. Yeah, he's training with Glover Teixeira, but I think Hamzat just dog walks him because he can. That's it. I'd love to see him move up. Maybe
would you like him? Who do you want to see him face?
Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz.
That would be good.
That's the fight, I think. Yeah. Because Ankalaev, I think, would just go wrestling.
Shoot on him. I think he'd shoot on him.
But Blachowicz might, and he's an okay wrestler, but he's not as good as some of these Dagestanis. You know, and he has the power to make it competitive in striking exchanges. He's got a chin on him as well. Yeah, I think that's a great fight.
That'd be a
Or
real...
just give him Jamal Hill after Yuri beats him.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah,
going to
'cause
happen.
Yuri's
That
beating
is
him.
what is going to happen.
Yeah,
Uh,
agreed.
but for Adesanya, I think
He's beating all the top 5 now. So what are we
who have we
doing?
got? Yeah, Whitaker, Vittori, Cannonier, Costa, Dricus is number 6. Dricus Duplessis, obviously. Like we say, Kamzat is on the move as well. Those are the 2 fights that of people that he hasn't been matched up with that could potentially happen. But they both probably need at least one win. Like Dricus needs a top 5 win, and Kamzat probably needs a win at middleweight because he hasn't got middleweight because he hasn't got a ranked middleweight win yet.
But then maybe they would do Duplessis versus Hamza. I think because I think the Duplessis fight is like I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
Like, from what I've seen of Duplessis, I'm like the fight wouldn't even be competitive between him and I think Adesanya would knock him out in a round or something like that. I don't think Duplessis is that good.
He'd drop him in a round, but like Duplessis, he has a crazy chin. He will get like wiped out essentially, and then just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back up and carry on. Like but I don't think they should be paired up. To be fair, I reckon they do Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev, and then Whitaker versus Duplessis.
In terms of fun, I think Strickland's the way. I think because Adesanya likes to kind of map out his next fights and his next opponents. But I think in terms of what's going to be exciting and fun, I think it's and also more competitive is Sean Strickland. To be honest,
I mean,
you think?
Go on.
Do you think Sean Strickland would put up a better fight than Dricus Duplessis? Please.
I don't think either of them would put up a good fight against Adesanya.
No, but who would put up? Which would be more competitive and more fun? And the build up,
right?
The press conference.
No. Duplessis would be a much more fun fight than Strickland. Yes, the pre-fight build up would be more fun with Strickland probably, but no, Duplessis. He has power. Strickland can't knock a man out to save his life.
I don't think it'll last long enough for Duplessis. I think it genuinely would not last. It would be you would go to the toilet and miss it. You know what I mean?
Maybe. He's so durable. This is the man who's knocked out Soldich. Like Duplessis, he's unconventional. I'll tell her.
And he's unconventional. You mean 0 IQ? Did you see the Brunson fight?
Yeah. I've seen all his fights.
It was the worst fight. I mean, it was the worst. I was like, what even? This is not even MMA at this point. Do you know what I mean? But I'd like to see some. I'd really like to see some fresh blood at middleweight. There's a lot of up and comers that are have potential, but I think it's a long time till we see.
Yeah.
See them get there, and I think Adesanya will be gone by then. To be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right. Dolidze looked like he was coming up, but he obviously dropped the split to Vittori. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there just isn't a huge amount to be excited about at middleweight.
Khamzat needs to get active again.
Yeah,
Khamzat needs to get active, run through Costa, and just.
I don't reckon he runs through Costa. I reckon that's
no. I don't think so either.
I don't think so either. I would probably favor him, but I think that's a tough fight. Costa is like a physical specimen. He's strong.
Freak.
You're not going to do what you did to Kevin Holland.
No.
You're not going to do that to Costa because he just launched you over the side of the cage.
Yeah. And then on the feet, I think it was just.
Yeah.
Costa's he's just so powerful. He's just.
Yeah.
An absolute beast.
Isn't it mad to think that he fought Johnny Hendricks?
I watched that fight. I was like, this shouldn't. It shouldn't have even been you see when they came face to face and Johnny Hendricks just looks out of shape, and then you got this Greek god, and he's just several. Oh god, and why would he even sign that bout agreement? He must have not known what Costa looked like before it.
Yeah, I think it was the end of his contract, and the UFC were like, well, obviously you've been fucking roiding the whole time, so
yeah,
take what you get. I'll get off the train. All right, let's move on. Co-main event, Burns, Masvidal. Kind of went like we expected, I think.
Yeah.
All in all. That was competitive-ish. But it was just
Uh,
Burns's like his right hand, wasn't it? Just landing time after time, and then also he had the wrestling as a nice
but
equalizer. Those two sort of components of his game together just
I
gave
think
Masvidal tough time.
Burns, to me, I think was a little. He seemed too hesitant almost, and I think a
Mm,
bit too. But like, because when he opened up, Masvidal had no answers for it. And see, as soon as it was at the end, when he got that takedown in the first, like this
yeah,
fight's over. This fight
yeah.
is over. There's like, and Masvidal looked like washed. He looked so bad. I thought he just looked like a complete shell of himself.
Mm,
Just and he's getting, and the punch resistance really there. He's getting clipped. And you can do that all you want, but I can see your
yeah,
legs buckle. You're getting
yeah.
clipped. You're getting hurt. And like Masvidal's meant to be the striker, and then Burns is just chucking an overhand right, and he's. Do you know what I mean? I
But
think if it was a few years ago, the on feet exchanges would be very different.
it's. I think we actually nailed it on the head with our preview because it was like technically Masvidal it has enough to be competitive, but the physical disparity between them, the speed and power of Burns is just enough to like, it will make the difference, and it did. Like,
He
yeah,
looked tired too. He looked really tired.
yeah. I mean, the man's pushing 40, and he
Yeah,
retired, which is a good move. This is
good
now
move.
now is now is the right time to retire. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Masvidal, but I mean, you can tell why. But yeah, like that was a very coherent and logical decision to make, I think. He's got
Yeah.
game bred boxing. Hell, he might go do some boxing himself, go fight Darren Till or Logan Paul.
I mean,
Why not?
that bit of his post fight speech was coherent, but the rest of it was just shut up, mate. Commercial, cut to the commercials. That's what they were saying in the back.
Three or
Get the
five.
mic. They're like, DC, get the mic off him now before he says anything stupid.
What do you think is next for Gilbert Burns? Because let's be real, he's not going to fight for a title. Next, he needs at least one more win. Um, I'll throw out some options for you. Rematch with Usman, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
No, I've got. So I know what I want Shavkat to do. I know what I want Shavkat to
You're
do.
gonna fight.
I want
To fight
I want
Bilal.
Shavkat Bilal.
Yeah, I know you
Feed
do.
Bilal to Shavkat.
I
Give me
actually,
it.
I actually
Give
think
me it.
like, who the hell is Burns gonna fight next? Genuinely, outside of
Are
an
they all
Usman
booked up?
rematch. Sorry.
Are they all booked up?
Well, yeah. So I'll go for the top five right now. Usman number one, Covington number two, Kamzat number three, Bilal number four, Gilbert number five, and then it's Shavkat and Wonderboy after that. So he's beaten Wonderboy. He's fought Usman. I think he's trained with Bilal. Um, Possibly. I might be wrong on that.
I'm not
I
sure.
swear, I swear I've seen some training footage with them. Yeah, it's very tricky. I think the Usman rematch is probably the way to go. I know Bilal was calling for a fight with Usman. Um, and if so,
He's,
then Shavkat versus Burns. I mean, that's so horrible to Burns. After the
I
man fought
know.
Kamzat, you're gonna put him up against Shavkat next. Like, what is
I like because I don't think he'll take that though. And like it's like who else is there? Like he's not going to fight like a Jeff Neal. He won't
no?
be interested in that. I think maybe take some time off, see how things on play. But
Yeah,
again, I think the upper echelons of welterweight have never been like they've not been particularly active.
yeah.
Shavkat, I don't think is fighting at 170 anymore. And I don't think
Shavkat,
they're going to do that.
Kamzat.
No, no, sorry, Kamzat. I
Yeah,
don't think they're doing that. They're not going to do that rematch. So it's like he is in a
yeah.
difficult situation, and he's like, "Oh, I want a title shot next." Masvidal was on a three-fight losing streak and ranked
Yeah.
number 11.
11.
Please,
Yeah.
mate, it, don't. I'm not a fool. Do you know what I mean? Like, like I don't know. Does he want to take a one up and comer and risk it? But
There aren't up and comers though. Like
true.
outside of Shavkat, like like you say, Neil, Luke is his teammate. Sean
Is it Luke?
Brady, who's ranked ninth and coming off a KO loss to Bilal.
He
Like
would he would kill Sean Brady. I tell you that for sure. I'll tell you that.
he could wait around, and once Jack Della gets a win, um, I mean, the
Yeah,
thing
but
is, I was gonna be like, oh, that's a great fight. Jack Della versus anyone is a great
is a
fight.
good
I
fight.
just want to see that man
Aren't they
scrap.
doing that? Luke, aren't they doing Luke next? In Luke.
I don't think it was ever confirmed. I think actually that might have been like a false story that was like published, but like Luke would be great. Um, yeah, it's tricky one for Burns. I think you're probably right though. It's just you got to wait it out and see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Um, moving on then, Yanez got knocked out by Rob Font, and whilst I think we got the read right on Gilbert Burns in that co-main, we were well off the mark
yeah,
for Font versus Yanez. One thing we did say, I guess, is that Font is a big step up. You're going from
yeah,
fighting Tony Kelly to Rob Font. You know, there is a massive discrepancy in skill, experience, just talent
yeah,
in general. And you know, Yanez didn't look bad until he was lying on his back,
yeah.
staring at the
I thought he looked sharp. Or, I mean,
Yeah,
like his box, like visually, his boxing is great.
it's lovely. It's just
It just looks so. And there's very few actually very skilled boxers in
yeah.
MMA. Most of them are just complete. Oh, they're just awful. But anyway, there's a bug of mine. But
Right.
I thought he looked fantastic, and he's still got time. He's still very young.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can't really write him off. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no,
It's like
no way.
there's no shame in that
Yeah,
loss.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, he'll be back. Take some time off, regroup. He's a fun action fighter, so you know I'll be watching. It's these things
absolutely.
happen. These things happen. You know.
Yeah, for real. I would love to see him fight what like winner out of Gutierrez versus Munoz, maybe, or all the loser, to be honest. Jonathan Martinez, actually, that's a fight because Martinez is ranked 14th now.
Yeah.
Martinez versus Yanez, great fight. Font, I have no idea who's gonna fight next. Maybe Peter Yan. Peter Yan. I know, like
Yeah. Let's get Yano in, because if Yan loses another fight, I don't know how much I can go on watching
yeah.
MMA.
I think
Do you
yeah,
know
I
what I mean?
think they're gonna do Yan Vera, I reckon. And I reckon that's a fight Yan should win.
He will.
Like
Yeah, I will.
Vera is just such a bizarre fighter. Um,
Yeah.
he just and Sam Hagen really showed him up in that last bout. Um, hell, I mean, Font versus Cruz, you know, fine with that.
Yeah. There's but
Yan,
I think he's probably
Vera,
going to take on
yeah,
another contender. He seems happy, and like, there's some guys who are
Song
like,
Yudong maybe.
yeah, there's some guys who are like, they're like, well, I only want to fight up the way, but Font
Yeah,
seems to be, he's not going to struggle to find a matchup, you know. But
no, no.
he
I mean,
deserves a bigger fight. He deserves a bigger fight next, though, rather
yeah,
than taking on someone
yeah,
lower ranked, you know, because that was it was. I mean, it was an unbelievable. It was really impressive,
yeah. It
very
was.
impressive.
There's no two ways about it. Like, and he was a heavy underdog. And yeah, he really
He
pulled out the bag.
cleaned him out. He cleaned him out.
Gone. Yeah.
Brutal.
Font versus Song Yudong. That's the fight, mate.
That's a good
I think.
fight.
Yeah, I
That's a good
reckon that's
fight.
the one. We're just gonna sort of breeze past the last two. Kevin Holland knocked out Pons. Yeah, weird fight.
That
Uh,
chin's not there anymore, is it?
for Pons, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I don't like Kevin Holland at welterweight. Remember when he was fighting at middleweight, and I was like, well, we're just
He's
watching
like,
it. It's like, whoa, this guy's got something about him. He's
yeah,
the thing is, most of the middleweights aren't that technically sound, and
or good.
Holland, yeah, well,
There's skill. There's definitely a
go
skill
and compete
level.
in the middleweight division, mate. See how you. Yeah, there is. There is. There's. They lack rely on their natural athleticism to an
Yeah,
extent. It just is a part of it, and he looked great in that division because he had the technique. But when he dropped down, yeah, welterweights are pretty good in general, and
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like,
There's
great, good finish, but like, I just does it do much for him? I don't know.
like I think the Cowboy Oliveira fight that looks even worse now. Cowboy just took a loss in the regional scene,
Kiefer
but I'm
Crosby.
like, but the thing it's like there is clearly a big. I shouldn't say they're not good. They're obviously very talented athletes, but yeah. But there is definitely a
Disclaimer.
skill disparity between
Yeah,
170 and 185. But I just think, what are they going to keep him on as these action? Because it wasn't even that fun a fight. So
no,
it's like, what does he do next? Who does he
yeah,
fight next?
Jack Della Maddalena.
but he'd crush him. Jack Della would crush.
That's actually like
Holland, in my
a
opinion.
good fight to make. So I reckon they'll probably stick Holland in the rankings after that. Jack Della's 14th.
Yeah,
Hell yes.
yeah. But is there anyone Is there anyone that's still hanging about that you think, oh, it'd be
Yes.
kind of fun?
I mean, that wouldn't be fun.
Gilbert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Li Jingliang? Li Jingliang?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Leech. Exactly. Yeah.
That'd be a good fight, actually. I like that.
I like that. But he is suffering a spinal injury right now, so he's gonna be out for a
Something
minute.
like that. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good fight. I hope he doesn't do like the veteran can crushing route where like
I know.
Robbie Lawler, Matt Brown, Court McGee,
Yeah, I'm not a
etc.
fan.
I wouldn't be
I'm not a
surprised if
fan.
he did, but
He's kind of already on it, really.
a little
And
bit.
I just think, and see when Ponzinibbio got dropped with that back fist, I was like, mate, this guy he's done. I think competing like at a high level.
He's not
Well,
a top
he's not
15
done.
fighter. He's not a top
No,
15 fighter anymore. Yeah.
no, and I just think the chin is just. And I know he's complaining
He
about this.
probably should be fighting Matt Brown or Robbie Lawler. Yeah,
Yeah,
he should be. Holland should not be. He should be fighting, top 15 fighters realistically. Let's move on then. The opening fight of the main card, Rosas Jr. got defeated and very soundly by Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod himself. Rosas just had nothing out of the first round.
No,
that was it. Like he just nothing going for him.
And like I saw quite a few people back in Rodriguez and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just like, do you know what? Like, I just think the striking especially was just really poor.
Rough.
And he just doesn't, like, we were talking about this. He's not fully developed as a man, a fighter at all. He's not.
Of course not.
He's
He's
not
18
all there yet. He's a child. Like, there's no. It would just, it's just, it doesn't make sense really. And I just think like it can be it's like Sage Northcutt. You don't go backwards now. You're in the UFC, so you don't really have a lot of time to develop now, you obviously do, but it's like,
it's different. There's a bar. There's a bar where you have to, you're fighting only people above that bar.
And it's just, I think it's good for people to come up in the regional scene, take a few losses and stuff like this, and then get some time fighting in bigger fights in these smaller promotions. I think it does so much for fighters, and I just think he's obviously still got so much potential. I just think there's a lot to work on, and I just think take a significant amount of time off. And like, I think we were talking, you said he was like 139 week of the fight. He's not got the size. I mean, these guys are, to be in the UFC, you're not just a gifted fighter and a skillful. You are most of these guys athletically very gifted, very strong. So and you just didn't have that to really. The grappling, the skills were there. I mean, some of the grappling, you're like, wow, this guy is very talented.
There's something there, but it's not a fully rounded game yet. It just isn't. And you should be rounding out your full game on the regional scene. It's what is normal. Like, most of his wait, let me get his topology up, because
he's fought in Mexico quite a lot. No, or am I? I thought he had some like gimme fights in Mexico.
I mean, no, his record looks fine. But what I'm more focusing on is all of his fights, his whole career, has been over the course of 2 years.
Yeah, it's like, not. It's
it's just
See this physical difference between even a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old is significant. So when you get these guys who are 30, 31, they've been fighting professionally for a decade. They've got a wife and kids at home. They're like, this child is going to come beat me and take So it's, I don't know. And for him to be in the main card, I did feel bad. I felt really bad for him, because he's a young guy. He's younger than both of us. And I was like, oh God, he must be mortified. He must be absolutely mortified. But I hope he regroups. What do you think? What do you think C-Rod's going to do next? Actually,
I have no idea. I didn't even know C-Rod was until this. I'm not lying. He's Pettis' protege, trains with Rufus Sports. I don't know. I'll tell you who Rosas should fight next though. It's Brian Kelleher. Because he always gets submitted. I mean, he's not that big, and yeah, that's the fight to make. And it's an experienced veteran. See, I genuinely no idea. Go fight Mario Bautista or someone. I'm just throwing names
Yeah.
at you now, like you know.
Yeah.
It's a shit one for him because I almost said it then. Oh, you beat an 18-year-old. Well done.
He gets no credit for it. Do
It's
you know what I mean?
yeah,
And
it's
at
rough.
point, actually, at points in there, I actually was like, "This is
Yeah,
bad. This is why. This is." There was points in there, and I was like, "This is why there is not a lot of young, like
yeah,
19-year-olds, 18-year-olds in the
yeah.
UFC. This is why, because it did look like it did look like a man against a boy.
It was. Yeah,
In the third round, I was like, and I was surprised he didn't get the finish, by the way. But I was like,
yeah,
God, I did feel for
yeah.
the guy.
Right. Well, I think that just about wraps everything up. Main card, obviously, yeah. Curtis versus Gaston was a great fight, but we're not going to talk about that today. Once again, find Murdo on Twitter, Murdo Todd, right? Murdo
Yeah.
_ Todd, I think. Myself, Frank Bonada. Subscribe to the MMA stream. I would not be surprised at all if Murdo makes a few more repeat appearances on this show. I'll be back with Mohammed soon enough as well. So yeah, drop us a subscribe, notifications on, all that sort of jazz. And we'll be back next week. Bam, 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 bam. There you go. That was decent. How do I